Hey there, I'm Erica from Hughes & Strong Consulting. We specialize in documenting and streamlining bookkeeping workflows within Keeper, and we just created a free community template so that you can get some inspiration for how we can keep things like advisory appointments, scheduling those, preparing our meeting agenda, that sort of thing inside of Keeper along with your month-end items so they don't get lost or forgotten. So in this video, I'm going to show you everything you're going to need to get access to that template and use it. All right, so to make sure we cover everything, I'm going to break it down into a couple of different parts in this video. So adding the templates to your library, right, taking it from the community and getting it into your own template library. Then how do we customize it? How do we adjust it and make it our own? And then once we're ready, how do we actually get that template, those tasks, into our clients? So first and foremost, where do we even find the community template library? Like, where am I supposed to go? So if we are logged into Keeper and we're on that home page, that client list that has the list of all of our clients, then we can go up along this top bar and look for templates. That's going to open up your template manager where all of our templates live. And then we're going to look for browse community. It's at the very bottom. This is going to be how you get to any template across the board, but I'll have our direct link to this template listed down below in the description so it can take you right there. So whether you search it or whether you go and find that link below, either way, you'll open up that template, you'll click on it, and then look for a copy to firm button, kind of a purplish one. Now, once you hit copy to firm, you'll go ahead and map it to whatever section you want these tasks to fall into. We're just going to say, hey, do we want this to fall in our general section? Do we have a special section that we use for advisory tasks or like client nurture or client success tasks? Where do we want this to fall? You can absolutely just use the general section, or if you have another one that you want to use, totally cool to map it. Now, be really careful because sometimes this feels like a really, really big decision. It's not. We can move these tasks to a different section later if we decide, okay, I'm going to start with the general section, but I may want to break this out into its own section later. You totally can. None of this is permanent. Keeper is asking us, where do we want it to put it right now? Okay, so don't sweat this decision. We can always change it later. But once you've mapped that, you've said, here's where I want these tasks to live, what section, then we can go ahead and hit confirm. So just add to templates is what we're going to be looking for there. So now we can customize it to our little heart's desire. I'm going to cover a couple of different options here. We've created this so that you can just drop it in as is if you would like to. Kind of play around with it, see if this works, develop it over time. Or if you know already that you want to customize it, I'm going to give you a little bit of inspiration here just to cover what you could customize on it. But just know in the back of your head, you can use this as is and that'd be okay too. Okay, so this is what you're going to find in this template are these base tasks, no checklist on them yet. So that means that first and foremost, we can adjust that wording. If we don't use advisory, we naturally call them CFO meetings or client nurture meetings or client success meetings or whatever we want to call them. We can first and foremost just change that name. The key here with any customizations you make is just to make it your own. And that sounds kind of cheesy, but like make it to where your brain doesn't have to process to remember what this task is telling you. So write it in the way, the like verbiage or the tone that you would normally use here if you were writing it yourself. So if you don't use advisory, change out that word. Another example is trying to make this easier for the next step. So if, for example, scheduling that advisory meeting, if I'm going to have to go look for that link that I need to send, let's just drop that in the task so I don't have to go hunting around in Calendly or whatever I use to go find that. Same example is if I'm going to have to send an email template that already has it set up in there, let's just list out what that email template name is. So when I go hunting for that email template, I don't have to like scrounge my brain or think super hard to figure out what that's called. So you can always add additional resources like that or kind of call it out. You can also add task tags. So if this is something that you're using throughout the rest of your account, you can absolutely use it here and set it up in the template so that you don't have to manually go update the tags for each of these tasks. So again, this is not one that you have to use. None of these are really, but if you're using tags somewhere else, you can use tags like advisory or admin or whatever lands for you, CFO, if that's what you're calling it, right? Now we can also add things like our call agenda. So if you cover the same kind of key bullet points every time, and you're always trying to figure out what's that third thing I usually cover or I want to cover and I need to prep for, you can absolutely add that agenda here if it's typical, like always the same. Or we can leave a blank checklist for those action items that are going to happen after the meeting. So totally your call here. If you want to add something about that agenda or leave yourself some space for action items, you absolutely can. And then finally, call out where you want these notes to live. So if you keep those notes in client notes inside of Keeper, awesome. Just give yourself a little reminder of where to find those. Or if you use something like Google Drive, let's give clear instructions there as well. So again, think about this like a buffet. Like take what sounds good on your first plate, come back if you want to add more, or you're like, I'll start with this, just the task by itself, but then maybe I'll add my Calendly link on there, or maybe I'll add some instructions later on. So you can always build off of this, but again, just some inspo to get you started. Now, after we're done playing around with it, getting our template how we want it, then we can go ahead and apply it to clients. So on the top of that template, kind of right-hand side, you're going to look for this apply to clients purplish button. And then a table will open up so you can see all of your clients and select which ones you want to drop these tasks into. So maybe it's just one that you want to try it out on right now, or we can choose a couple. So we can do like, let's say this first one and this third one, leave out somebody who doesn't have advisory. Or along this top row, there is a checklist or a checkbox here that you can click on that will select all on that page. So if you want to apply it to all, go for it. But some options here, just choose who you want to drop that template into. Now, once you get it into the client, we are not quite done. Make sure you add, or at least double check your due date and your assignee. So that's one that if we don't, it will still show up on the client page when we open it up and we go to that section, but it won't show up on our task list. If we're asking Keeper, hey, what do I have due this week? Or what do I have due today? It won't show up if it's not assigned to us or if we don't have that due date. So definitely double check those to make sure all of your hard work that you just did doesn't just land with the task getting forgotten anyway because it doesn't show up on your list, right? So we can set it for a single due date if it's just once that we're going to schedule it, or we can set a repeating frequency for this to happen, these tasks to drop in every month or something like that. And then your assignee, you're just going to select which user is going to do this task, is going to schedule that meeting, is going to prepare your meeting notes and that sort of thing. So from here, let's dive into a little bit of a live demo so I can show you what this looks like and some of the clicks you're going to be doing. Alrighty, so if you follow the link below, it'll take you directly to that template. Like we said, you can hit add to firm, map it to the section that you want, and then once you go into your template library, it'll be here. So ignore all of the other templates in here. You can tell this is what we love to do. But now we have free reign here. So this is ours now. We can change up the name if you are going to call this something different, or if you have it organized without emojis or with something else in the front, right? So you can organize this, change the name however you want so it fits in with the rest of your templates. And then from here, you can do whatever you would like to. So if there are tasks on here that you're doing something different or don't need that, you can delete the task altogether. You can add something in the description. You can add a checklist. So you can change the header here if you want something, or this subtask is probably where you're going to want to include a link if you're going to include one, right? So if we include it in this subtask, then it'll be clickable. So it'll be really easy. So let's add any links that we want to either in the description or in that subtask if we choose to include them, so that they're easily like a hyperlink. So we can do that. If it's always going to be the same person, we can apply that user or select it here inside of the template. We can change the tag if we want to while we're here. And whenever we're ready, we're going to go ahead and hit apply to clients. Ooh, let's pause and back up for a second. If you want to move these to another section, let's say like, okay, I dropped them in general, but I actually want them somewhere else, then click open the task here, like clicking into the middle or the belly of the task, and then hit move. Okay, so you'll be able to choose any other section that you have here in this template. So lots of options here. Whenever you're ready, you can hit apply to clients. And then this is where I was talking about. You can select one, you can select multiple, or all by going up to the top. You'll hit apply whenever you're ready, and that will drop the tasks exactly as they are here in this template into a client. Then from there, you can set the recurrence frequency, you can add any client specific links or notes, do whatever you would like to actually make this task functional. So that's a quick walkthrough of how to get this template into your library and adjust it and use it with your clients. Now, if you're coming across questions, though, definitely reach out. So best place for that is our free Q&A every month. So we have a Keeper specific Q&A where you can come in and ask questions. I think I'm doing something wrong. Please help. Hey, can you look over this for me? Or just brainstorm other ideas that are coming up with this. So that's a really good platform for that. But if you got excited about this and want more Keeper resources like other templates or PDFs on how to set up your client portal, we have a Keeper specific freebie page that you're welcome to go to and kind of check out and browse other things in this similar vein. That's all for this one, guys. So thanks for spending a couple minutes with me, and have a lovely rest of your day.